Hello and welcome back to the Discovery Workshop ASMR, and today I'm just talking about the repair I had to do on my DHK Maximus Chassis that I run my Ratrod on. And so it was a rear gear I had to replace. And so yeah, I had to take all the I had to take a heap of things off from the back here to replace that gear. So all this had to come off first. First I had to take out those 4 screws, and then I had to take out a bunch of screws in the back there. Just move that out of the way. One second. So the part I had to replace was the one second. It was actually just one of these. See how all the teeth on this are munched down. So I had to put a new one in the back there, in that gear thing. It's called the, it'll say on here, that was the crown gear. Yeah, the pinion was okay. The pinion, the little pinion in there was okay. It wasn't munched, but it was this big thing here that was all, as you can see, the teeth are all worn down on it. Yeah, so that was actually I think the main cause for all the problems, because since I put the new one in, I tested it out a little bit. It's been running heaps better. So I'm guessing this chassis must have sensors on it or something, so when one little thing like that plays up, the rest of it seems to just play up and not go so good. Yeah, so my next video is going to be a like a breaking in of the new gear, crown gear that I had to replace in there. Part number, I think that's the part number there. Yeah. So yeah, it was a bit of a mission, getting all that apart and putting it back together. So this is, I didn't have to take this little part out and replace it, so that was good. Yeah, so it was one of those sort of jobs where towards the end, when you're putting it back together, one pair of hands isn't enough. You need someone to help you, so you've got to kind of hold some parts of it in place, and someone else has to screw the last bits on, because yeah, there's like several things that need to be in place. Like you have to have the bars and for the wheel arms and everything all at once, and you have to have these bars that go into the little gear thing there all in at once. And yeah, so some might call it a bit of a nightmare task, but yeah, I'm quite chuffed that I got through it. So this should be going good now, because last I checked, yeah, it was running nicely. So I just got to break it in, and that'll be another video, is the breaking in of that new gear, and a speed test. Yeah. So a few things to bear in mind is, don't forget to put those 4 screws in on the gear housing thing over here at the back here, before putting the rest of it on, because otherwise it's a bit difficult getting even a long Allen key like one of these in there with the little screw to screw it in. Because towards the end there I was wondering, what are these last 4 screws to? And then I saw in there, oh, that's missing 4 screws. So sure enough, yeah. And there's a few little parts that if you're not if your memory retention isn't the best, you can easily forget where those little parts go. So for example, that little aluminum bar down there, when I had that sitting around on the desk here, I'd forgotten where that went, so I had to go over stuff. So I think maybe one little mental note for doing these things is, I think maybe take photos, like little snapshots, just sort of before you take a part off, so you know where that part goes back on, so you don't have to rummage through videos and stuff to try and find where and what that part is. I had to go to the website to find out what some of the parts were, because there were like 3 parts I forgot where they went. One of them I think was this little plastic thing here, not just that aluminium piece down there, but this little plastic thing, which is I think like the bumper, one of the bumper mounts, and also this part here, I think a little plastic part that goes somewhere in here. So that's a mental note. I think with this little hobby is try and keep a like a log book or something of photos as you go through, yeah, some kind of a register thing of some sort as you're stripping it down, because otherwise you can be a bit bamboozled. But this here's handy. I put a lot of my parts in one of these. I'm probably going to get several of them for my different chassis. Because I'm thinking of getting that Rolalo Omni Terminator and maybe a Rolalo one of those Rolalo touring car chassis, but not the carbon fiber one, but the metal one, the aluminium chassis, which is a bit cheaper. I'm thinking of getting that one. I think it's the Rolalo AK917, like what I've got here, but just the roller chassis, because I want to put my own shell on it. This Tamiya I'm going to put on the back burner for a little while, because, well, the trouble with this is that it is a real mission. Like, there's lots and lots of little parts to put together, and I kind of done a bit of homework on it, and it's not the best chassis to start out with in the hobby and putting it together. And plus, it's more of a drift car chassis, because it's rear wheel drive. I found out a little bit more about the MO8 Tamiya, so but I don't mind. Apparently, if you can put together the MO8 chassis, then you can do any chassis in the RC hobby, because it's that much of a headache. So yeah, I feel I have to get a little more experience before I jump into that. So that's what my plan is. So yeah, I think that about wraps up the review of fixing this DHK Maximus. So please like and subscribe, and over and out.